There is a critical role for regional and international actors and mechanisms in support of Palestinian governance and independent statehood, and not as a substitute to them. We need to work together to ensure success. The task is monumental, but it is worth it. It requires collective and coordinated efforts. There were efforts and plans before, but maybe there was never before such momentum for peace, stemming from horrors the region witnessed the last 2 years. Just peace will change the face of the region and the fate of its peoples. The independence of the State of Palestine and the implementation of the two-state solution will pave the way for regional integration, a prospect many thought and still think impossible, but that is within grasp if we collectively decide to rid the region of wars and occupation and finally choose shared peace, shared security, and shared prosperity. It is time to end this conflict once and for all, so people never experience such pain and loss again, and all peoples can live in peace and security. But this should be a moment to remind us all of our shared humanity, of the suffering future generation can and must be spared. This should not happen any longer. Regardless what camp you belong to, what cause you defend, what right you proclaim, no one should ever justify harming civilians, abducting them, torturing them, killing them. No one should ever justify holding remains, sometimes for years and decades, and depriving families from their ability to offer them dignified burial. Summary execution are never acceptable, regardless who commits them. No one should explain that there is any title or any right that can justify atrocities. No one, never, ever, under any circumstances. And here allow me to thank the mediators for their relentless efforts that led to the Sharm el-Sheikh agreement. Egypt, which endured smearing campaigns and attacks. Qatar, whose territory was struck by Israel as it was mediating. Turkey, which joined these mediation efforts. And the United States. And let us speak plainly. The United States is a superpower. And as such, it has always a choice to fuel the fire or to help cease the fire. In this case, President Trump used all his weight to achieve a ceasefire agreement that saves lives and that releases the hostages. We all listened to the chants on Hostages Square in Tel Aviv. They know there would be no agreement without President Trump. And the region and the world mobilized around his effort as they understand that this is a chance for life, for freedom, and for peace. They understand he alone can save Israel from itself and from the temptation of brutal and indiscriminate force and annexation that has isolated it around the world. The 2 votes in the Knesset yesterday demonstrate that Israel has yet to renounce this path, other policies and other measures and other statements as well. But we appreciate the clear message from the Trump administration against any push for annexation. We will work with President Trump, with regional and international partners, to transform a fragile and volatile ceasefire into just and lasting peace, with Palestinian agency and Palestinian liberation as our goal, with mutual recognition and peaceful coexistence as cornerstones. What we need is not a pause in the violence and injustice, but an end to them. Violence is an impasse. It must not be fueled nor tolerated. It must be stopped. And we will not relent in our rejection of violence against all civilians.
Make no mistake, Hamas has already violated the ceasefire. They promised to return the bodies of our fallen within 72 hours. Yet still today, more than 300 hours after the ceasefire began, 13 fallen hostages remain in captivity. Hamas lied at the negotiating table, and they lied still to us, to the negotiators, and to the entire world. They know exactly, and we know that they know, where our fallen are. They simply refuse to act. This is not a matter of logistics. It is a calculated cruelty, psychological warfare designed to inflict pain and to buy time. Let me be clear. Our fallen hostages will be brought home by diplomacy, if possible, by other means, if necessary. This image was taken in the Sabra neighborhood in Gaza City on the 15th of October, just after the ceasefire began. Hamas gunmen emerged from their tunnels, clean uniforms, full stomachs, armed and organized. Almost immediately, they turned their guns on their own people. They attacked men, women, and children, hunted rivals, and carried out public executions. No evidence, no trial, just terror. And from the UN, silence. No condemnation, no accountability, no emergency session. That silence is dangerous. It emboldens Hamas. They walk the same path as ISIS, with the same brutality and the same contempt for human life. How can there be a future for Gaza while its people still live under fear? That is why disarmament is not only a security demand, it is a moral duty. Mr. President, peace cannot coexist with terror. The peace plan before us is an opportunity. But opportunity alone is not enough. We must act now to ensure Hamas is disarmed.
Это именно то, к чему мы и другие члены Совета Безопасности последние 2 года призывали в контексте разворачивавшейся в Газе трагедии. Поэтому Россия приветствовала договоренности между Израилем и Хамас о прекращении боевых действий в секторе Газа, несмотря на то, что множество важных для БВУ сюжетов осталось за скобками и не получило отражения в итоговых документах. Установившееся перемирие во многом стало возможным благодаря неустанным трудам египетских, катарских, турецких и американских посредников. Высоко ценим эти дипломатические усилия, не прервавшиеся даже тогда, когда казалось, что шансов договориться уже нет. Отмечаем особую роль в этом президента Соединенных Штатов Дональда Трампа, чья личная вовлеченность в стремление прекратить бойню в Газе придали необходимый импульс для достижения договоренности. К сожалению, сегодня мы наблюдаем опасность повторения подобной ситуации. Так, палестинцы вменяют израильтянам регулярные нарушения прекращения огня. Израиль же недоволен затягиванием Хамас передачи всех тел погибших заложников. Призываем все стороны к строгому выполнению соглашений. Боевые действия, с жертвами которые стали десятки тысяч мирных палестинцев, не должны возобновиться ни при каком сценарии. Уверены, что этому поспособствуют и итоги прошедшего 13 октября в Шарм-эль-Шейхе саммита мира. Важно, что подписанный по итогам декларации особый акцент сделан на защите прав человека, гарантиях безопасности и достоинства палестинцев и израильтян, а также искоренении экстремизма и радикализма во всех формах, включая расизм, без чего невозможно процветание ни одного общества.
As President Trump has said, the job is not done. And in that vein, Hamas must immediately return the bodies of the 13 remaining hostages, including the bodies of American citizens Itai Khin and Omer Nutra, as promised under the agreement. Their families, colleagues, their families deserve dignity. And Hamas must likewise follow through on its commitment to disarm. The president is not playing games here. And simply put, Hamas is finished in Gaza and does not have a future there. And if they do not follow through, they are in violation of the ceasefire and will face consequences, severe consequences. The future of Gaza can be one of peace and prosperity. And we also note, as has been noted here today, the extremely disturbing and bloody executions of by Hamas of the people in the streets of Gaza, in broad daylight, on camera, for the world to see. This is further evidence that Hamas is unfit to rule the Gaza Strip, cannot be trusted with the safety of the people in Gaza for a moment longer. And like people, and for the global community that has been protesting and demanding peace for the Palestinian people, for the people of Gaza, where is the outrage? Where is it over these executions we've seen in recent days? Hamas is not just attacking Israelis. It's not just terrorizing hostages underground. It's not just using bodies as psychological warfare on families. They are openly killing their own people for propaganda, in addition to the human shields that they've used over the past years. And candidly, shame on the world for its silence in the wake of these executions. Well, President Trump has not been silent. He has clearly said Hamas terrorists must immediately cease these killings or face their own elimination. So when Hamas complies with the deal, the rebuilding of Gaza will be a major regional and global event.
中方呼吁有关各方全面遵守停火协议要求，推动实现真正的全面持久停火，确保加沙重获安全与稳定。第二，必须尽快缓解加沙人道灾难。在长达2年的围困、封锁下，加沙民众遭受了难以言状的苦难。当前，人道援助虽有所恢复，但仍面临重重阻碍，紧迫的人道需求远未缓解。昨天，国际法院发布咨询意见，明确以色列有义务与联合国近东巴勒斯坦难民救济和工程处等机构合作，向加沙提供人道援助。以色列必须履行占领方的国际人道法义务，开放全部过境点，保障人道物资大规模进入加沙和安全有序分发，解除对工程处等人道机构开展援助的限制。
Yesterday's vote in the Israeli Knesset to advance bill aimed at annexing the West Bank exposes once again, the colonial nature of the occupation. It represents a blatant attempt to legitimize settlements in flagrant violation of international law and also of relevant Security Council resolution. We strongly condemn these actions and call upon the international community, and in particularly this Council, to uphold its responsibility to safeguard the prospect for a just and viable two-state solution. Continuing settlement expansion, settler violence, and annexation measures are gravely endangering peace efforts and undermining the very basis of a future Palestinian state.
Mr. President, I categorically reject the unfounded allegation made by the United States representative. Iran's foreign policy is firmly rooted in the UN Charter and international law, respecting sovereignty, territorial integrity, non-interference, and good neighborliness. It is, in fact, the unlawful military presence and destabilizing action of the United States that have fueled the conflict and instability in our region. Iran has consistently shown its readiness for fair, genuine dialogue. Furthermore, the false narrative of Iranian proxies is a deliberate distraction from the true source of regional instability, the United States, and its unconditional support for its proxy in the region, the Israeli regime, enabling its ongoing aggression, atrocities, and occupation. By repeatedly obstructing the Security Council Charter mandate, Washington has rendered itself complicit in these crimes and bears direct legal and moral responsibility for their continuation. I thank you.